you guys talk about this genderbread person. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say.
It is.
Not gingerbread person, genderbread person. Right. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So the genderbread person is really an easy way to get a handle on how multifaceted this issue is. So part of that is looking at gender identity. And that is how male or female that we might feel within ourselves. And that changes from moment to moment. One of the examples I think of is if you saw a child in a park that was hurt, you might be really prone to be nurturing and caring and all these very feminine qualities. Mm-hmm. You might be in that same park and you see a group of teenagers harassing an older person. And you might confront that and be very, very aggressive and say, hey, this behavior cannot continue. And that's identified as being more masculine. So there's a little bit of change within that.
Yeah, and I would say that these are all things that straight people would experience too. This is not specific to the LGBTQ community, but maybe everybody has a gender identity. It's just that this community may be more in touch with the fluidity of that and understand the definitions more and have more of a sense of who they are on that continuum. And I think that's another important point to make as we go through what this means is that in our society, we generally have two boxes to choose from. And with the gender identity, you're either male identified or female identified. But then there's this whole continuum in between where you could have a bi-gender identity or genderqueer identity or third gender identity.
Mm-hmm. So it's an infinite number of possibilities.
And as a therapist treating really anybody, there's a lot of education to do around that spectrum, around that continuum.
Yeah, and I think as we work with clients, the ability to respect that folks can come in and have a fluid gender identity can really create that safe space that we're looking for them to explore other topics.
Right, and so when somebody may come in and say, be questioning their gender, because our society tends to just look at those two boxes, we might think as therapists that, this person is male, but we automatically might think, they are going from male to female or female to male, but there are all these other possibilities.
Yeah.
Right.
So the next
so getting back to the genderbread person,
there's gender expression.
Okay.
And so gender expression is how one chooses to adorn themselves, how mannerisms come across as kind of the masculinity and femininity that you express to the world. And for all sorts of reasons, people may identify as being more female or male, but their gender expression could be different. It may be safer in certain environments.
Sure.
It's easier to maybe keep your job if you have a gender expression that is aligned with your sex, which we'll talk about later. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything else to add to gender expression?
No, well, there's lots to add, but for this.
Well, I thought you had a good example the other day, Adam, that like when I'm at work, I might, wear a suit, but then when I come home, if I'm a woman and I, want to express that to the world, then I wear a dress or a skirt or my jeans or whatever. But then when I get home, I don't need to look like I'm a woman.
You don't have to prove your femaleness.
Right, exactly. I can put on sweatpants and a t-shirt and
Mm-hmm. And to add to that, your gender identity may be a lot more male than that. You may really feel like wearing a suit and tie to work, but that may feel too uncomfortable to you, or it may be too big of a risk.
It's too uncomfortable for the environment that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we talked about gender identity, gender expression.
Next is sexual orientation.
Okay.
And I would really break that into two pieces. So we can have sexual orientation, and those are the folks that we feel erotically charged by. And then there's also romantic orientation, which can be folks that we want to spend time with, kind of whose hand you want to hold. And the distinction there is because those things can be different for people. In particular, I'm thinking about folks who identify as being asexual. They don't feel a lot of sexual attraction for anyone, but romantically, they want a partner. They want someone who's they want someone who's there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last
is just biological sex,
And this is another place where we think there's kind of two boxes, that you can be male or female and that's it. And in the reality of things, there are all sorts of folks who fit in between that. There's intersex, which is what used to be called hermaphrodite, and then infinite possibilities in between.